Hello, and welcome to my presentation about the potential solutions to the algae bloom in the Everglades. So, what causes toxic algae blooms? Well, algae blooms are usually caused by agricultural runoff or sewage that dumps a large amount of nitrogen and phosphorus in the water. For this specific problem that happened in the Everglades, this was caused by a large flood of warm water from a nearby lake, which was rich in nitrogen. So overall, the two main components that would cause an algae bloom is just an excess in nitrogen and phosphorus. So why are algae blooms bad? Well, algae blooms block sunlight from underwater plants, so the algae rises to the top and no plants underneath are able to get any sunlight, which causes incredible environmental damage. And then it also releases dangerous toxins that contaminate the drinking water. These toxins don't just contaminate the drinking water, though, they also kill the animals. And when they kill the animals from the contaminations, this gets spread onto us. So the contaminations inside of the water and the animals can lead to us becoming incredibly sick if we eat these animals or drink that water. So what's being done to help solve this? Right now, conservationists are focusing on a way to remove phosphorus from the water at a certain price. Um, Although nitrogen is the second main component to an algae bloom, we don't have the necessary data to reduce an effective amount. So with this, the Everglades Foundation launched a $10 million prize to whoever could remove phosphorus from the water at a price that doesn't exceed $120 per kilogram. So what are potential ways that we could remove phosphorus from the water? The first would be adding aluminum salts. This has been used for years as a way or a method to remove phosphorus from the water. This method has been incredibly effective, but unfortunately, it isn't effective in water with high pH. And since this water is high in nutrients, these nutrients, including nitrogen and phosphorus, their pH will probably be around 7 to 8, and the aluminum salts work best at a pH of 4 to 6. Although this is definitely a limitation for aluminum salts, there has been new technology that has been able to adapt and work effectively at any pH level. This is what it is called Phoslock, or well, Phoslock is basically lanthanum modified bentonite clay, and it's stable at any pH level and can be used to help remove phosphorus from the water. Another process of removing phosphorus from the water is through phosphorus precipitation. Phosphorus precipitation is when the water that is filled with phosphorus it's dosed with metal salts, and the solid residuals will usually settle to the ground due to gravity, or they're filtered out. Although like although this process is incredibly effective, it is incredibly hard to perform. So implementing this for a large scale like the Everglades does not seem incredibly possible. Another and our final method of removing phosphorus is biological phosphorus removal. As you can see by the diagram on the left, the phosphorus water is filtered through an anaerobic reactor, an aeration tank, and a clarifier, and the clarified water gets sent to a different tank where it is filtered. And from that filtration, it produces sludge and activated sludge. The activated sludge is returned to repeat that process over again, and the sludge is dropped to the bottom to be removed for waste. And this is one of the most cost effective and environmentally stable methods of removing phosphorus. And this comes at a much less cost and sludge production than other methods such as chemical precipitation. I really hope you enjoy my presentation today, and here's the works cited page in case you need any of the links to all the resources I used. Thank you.